Welcome back, everyone, to the Course in Miracles in Practice.
Great to be diving into the next lesson.
Yes, indeed. Today, we're stepping into another really profound realization of the Course. Heaven isn't something we wait for, it's a decision we make.
That line always hits hard.
It really does. So let's explore what that means, how it transforms our perception, and maybe why this one choice sort of resolves all the others.
Sounds good. Ready to see things differently.
Let's begin. So, this is Lesson 138. Heaven is the decision I must make. In this world, heaven is a choice, because here we believe there are alternatives to choose between. We think that all things have an opposite, and what we want, we choose. If heaven exists, there must be hell as well, for contradiction is the way we make what we perceive and what we think is real. Creation knows no opposite, but here is opposition part of being real. It is this strange perception of the truth that makes the choice of heaven seem to be the same as the relinquishment of hell. It is not really thus, yet what is true in God's creation cannot enter here unless it is reflected in some form the world can understand. Truth cannot come where it could only be perceived with fear, for this would be the error truth can be brought to illusions. Opposition makes the truth unwelcome, and it cannot come. Choice is the obvious escape from what appears as opposites. Decision lets one of conflicting goals become the aim of effort and expenditure of time. Without decision, time is but a waste and effort dissipated. It is spent for nothing in return, and time goes by without results. There is no sense of gain, for nothing is accomplished, nothing learned. You need to be reminded that you think 1,000 choices are confronting you when there is really only one to make. And even this but seems to be a choice. Do not confuse yourself with all the doubts that myriad decisions would induce. You make but one. And when that one is made, you will perceive it was no choice at all, for truth is true and nothing else is real. There is no opposite to choose instead. There is no contradiction to the truth. Choosing depends on learning. And the truth cannot be learned but only recognized. In recognition, its acceptance lies, and as it is accepted, it is known. But knowledge is beyond the goals we seek to teach within the framework of this course. Ours are teaching goals, to be attained through learning how to reach them, what they are and what they offer you. Decisions are the outcome of your learning, for they rest on what you have accepted as the truth of what you are and what your needs must be. In this insanely complicated world, heaven appears to take the form of choice, rather than merely being what it is. Of all the choices you've tried to make, this is the simplest, most definitive, the prototype of all the rest, the one which settles all decisions. If you could decide the rest, this one remains unsolved. But when you solve this one, the others are resolved with it, for all decisions but conceal this one by taking different forms. Here is the final and the only choice in which is truth accepted or denied. So we begin today considering the choice that time was made to help us make. Such is its holy purpose, now transformed from the intent you gave it. That it be a means for demonstrating hell is real, hope changes to despair, and life itself must in the end be overcome by death. In death alone are opposites resolved, for ending opposition is to die, and thus salvation must be seen as death, for life is seen as conflict. To resolve the conflict is to end your life as well. So we begin today considering the choice that time was made to help us make. Such is its holy purpose, now transformed from the intent you gave it. These mad beliefs can gain unconscious hold of great intensity and grip the mind with terror and anxiety so strong that it will not relinquish its ideas about its own protection. It must be saved from salvation, threatened to be safe, and magically armored against truth. And these decisions are made unaware to keep them safely undisturbed, apart from question and from reason and from doubt. So we begin today considering the choice that time was made to help us make. Such is its holy purpose, now transformed from the intent you gave it. Heaven is chosen consciously. The choice cannot be made until alternatives are accurately seen and understood. All that is veiled in shadows must be raised to understanding to be judged again, this time with heaven's help. And all mistakes in judgment which the mind had made before are open to correction, as the truth dismisses them as causeless. Now are they without effects. They cannot be concealed because their nothingness is recognized. So we begin today considering the choice that time was made to help us make. Such is its holy purpose, now transformed from the intent you gave it. The conscious choice of heaven is as sure as is the ending of the fear of hell when it is raised from its protecting shroud of unawareness and is brought to light. Who can decide between the clearly seen and the unrecognized? Yet who can fail to make a choice between alternatives when only one is seen as valuable, the other as a wholly worthless thing, a but imagined source of guilt and pain? Who hesitates to make a choice like this? And shall we hesitate to choose today? So we begin today considering the choice that time was made to help us make. Such is its holy purpose, now transformed from the intent you gave it. We make the choice for heaven as we wake and spend 5 minutes making sure that we've made the one decision that is sane. We recognize we make a conscious choice between what has existence and what has nothing but an appearance of the truth. Its pseudo-being, brought to what is real, is flimsy and transparent in the light. It holds no terror now, for what was made enormous, vengeful, pitiless with hate, demands obscurity for fear to be invested there. Now it is recognized as but a foolish, trivial mistake. Before we close our eyes and sleep tonight, we reaffirm the choice that we have made each hour in between, and now we give the last 5 minutes of our waking day to the decision with which we awoke. As every hour passed by, we declared our choice again, in a brief, quiet time devoted to maintaining sanity. And finally, we close the day with this, acknowledging we chose but what we want. Before we close our eyes and sleep tonight, we reaffirm the choice that we have made each hour in between. And now we give the last 5 minutes of our waking day to the decision with which we awoke. As every hour passed by, we declared our choice again in a brief, quiet time devoted to maintaining sanity. And finally, we close the day with this, acknowledging we chose but what we want. Heaven is the decision I must make. I make it now and will not change my mind because it is the only thing I want. Wow, okay, so that's a lot to unpack.
It definitely is. Powerful stuff.
This idea that heaven is the decision I must make, it feels incredibly potent, doesn't it?
It really does. What jumps out at me immediately is how it just flips the script on heaven.
Flips the script. How so?
Well, we usually think of it as, a place somewhere far off, maybe after this life.
Right, a destination.
Exactly.
Right.
But this lesson says, no, It's right here, right now. It's a choice in this world.
Because we believe there are alternatives here. That's what it says. We think there's heaven and hell.
Yeah, this whole world of opposites we've constructed, good, bad, love, fear, heaven, hell. It's how we navigate or think we navigate.
But creation, it says, knows no opposite. That's a big one.
It is. It suggests our entire framework of reality, this opposition part of being real, is, fundamentally flawed.
So choosing heaven isn't really choosing against hell in the grand scheme of things.
According to this, no. Because hell isn't a real opposite in God's creation. It just seems like we're relinquishing hell from our perspective here.
Okay, right. It has to be reflected in a form the world can understand. So choice becomes the understandable form.
Precisely. Truth itself, pure truth, can't just barge in where it would only be met with fear. That would be like adding error to illusions.
Which makes no sense. Opposition makes truth unwelcome. Got it.
And so choice is the escape hatch from these seeming opposites.
It gives us direction, right? Decision lets one goal become the focus. Otherwise, time is just wasted.
Yeah, effort dissipated, nothing learned. We've all felt that, I think, spinning our wheels.
Definitely. And then the lesson reminds us, you think 1,000 choices are confronting you.
When there is really only one to make. Love that part.
Me too. It cuts through so much mental clutter. Don't get lost in the myriad decisions.
Just make the one. And then you realize, it wasn't even really a choice.
Because truth is true and nothing else is real. No opposite, no contradiction.
And this choice, it depends on learning, or rather, recognition.
Right. Truth can't be learned, only recognized. That distinction feels important.
Very. Learning implies acquiring something new from outside. Recognition implies remembering something already within.
And accepting it. In recognition, its acceptance lies.
Though true knowledge is beyond the scope of this course, it says. This is about teaching goals, learning how to reach them.
And our decisions flow from what we've accepted as true about ourselves and our needs.
So in this insanely complicated world, as it puts it.
Yeah, feels about right some days.
Heaven just looks like a choice. It's the simplest, the prototype, the one that settles everything else.
Solve this one and the others are resolved with it because they just conceal this one choice in different forms.
That's such a key insight. All those little daily struggles and decisions are just masks for the fundamental choice, heaven or, the illusion of hell.
Truth accepted or denied, that's the final choice.
So time, its holy purpose is to help us make this choice, not the purpose we gave it.
Which was demonstrating hell is real, hope turns to despair, life ends in death. Yikes.
Pretty bleak. Seeing salvation as death because life is seen as conflict. Ending the conflict means ending life. That's the mad belief.
And these beliefs grip the mind unconsciously. Terror, anxiety.
So strong that the mind fights against salvation, thinking it needs protection from truth, armored against it.
And these decisions are made unaware, kept safe from questioning.
But heaven Heaven must be chosen consciously.
You can't make the choice until you see the alternatives clearly. Lift the shadows.
Bring it all to understanding, judge it again, but this time with heaven's help.
And then the mistakes, the misjudgments, they're corrected, seen as causeless, no effects.
Because their nothingness is recognized. You can't hide nothing.
Right, so choosing heaven consciously becomes as sure as the fear of hell ending once you drag that fear out into the light.
Who can't choose when the options are clear? One valuable, the other. Just worthless. Imagine guilt and pain.
Who hesitates then? Shall we hesitate today?
Good question for all of us, right?
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. And the practice. Make the choice upon waking. 5 minutes.
Just 5 minutes to consciously choose between what is and what just seems to be.
Recognizing the pseudo-being is flimsy in the light. No terror left.
That thing that seemed huge and hateful needs darkness to survive. Now it's just a foolish mistake.
And reaffirm the choice before sleep. Another 5 minutes.
And hourly, a brief, quiet moment, maintaining sanity.
Closing the day by acknowledging we chose what we want.
Heaven is the decision I must make.
Yeah.
I make it now and will not change my mind because it is the only thing I want.
Powerful commitment. So reflecting on all that, for me, the takeaway is that sense of relief. Like, oh, I don't have to figure out those 1,000 other things perfectly. I just need to keep coming back to this one choice, this one orientation towards peace, towards heaven. It simplifies everything.
Yeah, I agree. For me, it's the shift from striving to choosing. Less about earning peace and more about accepting it by making that conscious decision. It feels empowering. Like the power was always there. I just wasn't using it consciously.
Right. It takes the pressure off, in a way, but also puts the responsibility squarely on us, moment by moment. Choose again.
Use again. Exactly.
Well, we hope you, our listeners, got a lot out of today's topic. If you have comments or questions or something you'd like us to discuss, you can email us at ACIM@theworldharmonyproject.org.
See you for lesson 139 tomorrow.